Hey, thank you for joining me again, folks. I'd like to throw a special shout out to my nephew CJ. If you're watching this, hello, my buddy. This game, frankly, sucks. Why did it make a replay then? Well, you'll see toward the end. I've been playing around with the carriers. I'm looking forward to the carrier rework. I have both the HOSHO and the Langley. This is a Tier 4 match on the Battle Big race. It's a standard battle, and I'm in my HOSHO. I only have a 3-point commander, so I'm still trying to get the feel of it. This is only about my 4th carrier game, I want to say, 4th or 5th. So we're going to spawn over in the northwest. Like I said, I'm still trying to learn it. I believe the key, at least to these lower tiers, is air superiority. Pay attention to the Langley's fighter group. I think that the Langley pretty much has that nailed down, and if you can basically get your carrier fighter group, see how this is going to work out here. Can I move around? Nope. All right, this is my first time actually doing a carrier replay, so we're going to see what happens here with the camera angles. Hopefully it works out pretty well. So, yeah, I think that if you can get your fighter group geared up, and absolutely, in fact, if you watch down here, you can see how do I, there we go. Okay, so we are replaying real time. All right, so you can see I'm just trying to maneuver around my carrier. Sorry about that slow start. Now look at his carrier. He's tier 4, same as me, but he has 2 more fighters in his fighter group than I do, which leads me to believe that this guy is at least a 10-point commander, probably running air superiority, and he just absolutely wrecked my first fighter group. And that's going to kind of continue. He's going to deny me the airspace. And I think that at these low tiers at least, that's going to be kind of the theme of the game, is actually trying to control the airspace. The gameplay for the carriers is really really different. Being top down, they call it an RTS game style. Being top down, it's going to just completely change the dynamic of the gameplay. Now with the carrier rework, it's going to be more first person again. It's almost taking on the role, kind of like taking the ships into the sky, where you're actually controlling the aircraft themselves. And I'm looking forward to that. But you can see now the enemy ships, the opposing team, they're all gathering in this this little group down here, trying to pass through the gap. The northeast is almost completely desolate, with the exception of the Clemson, and you're going to see that there's actually a British destroyer up in that area as well. So I send out my torpedo bombers and my fighters toward the east. I'm actually trying to avoid the carrier fighter group, and there he is. He pops up again. So I'm going to immediately withdraw my torpedo bombers and my fighters. I'm just trying to stay away from his area over here. So my fighters are heading down to re-engage him again. And I'm not expecting to win anything out of this fight. I'm expecting actually to get decimated again. But kind of what my goal is, I want to bait this guy's fighters and actually bring them over closer to the HOSHO, to my carrier. Reason being, and there we go, we actually engaged, shot down one of them finally. Kind of get locked up there. That plan backfired on me. So when you engage with fighter carrier-borne aircraft, you're kind of locked in. You can't just engage and then immediately run away, which what I was wanting to do. The HOSHO actually has very little anti-air complement on its own, but it does exist. It's better than the Langleys at this tier. Which, there you go, I just got wiped out again, and we're less than 5 minutes into the game, and I'm already completely out of carrier-borne fighters. So now my torpedo bombers are on their own. They're at the mercy of the the Langley's fighters. So I have them just kind of patrolling around over here toward the southeast. And you see there's the wake, or over toward the east there. I'm moving them southeast, looking at this Kuma, looking at the Wakeful, trying to find something to engage. I've lost spotting on the Langley's fighters. I know that they're heading down into this area. They probably see me. But I'm looking at trying to take on this Wakeful. Now, mind you that there is a V-170 over here to the east of the Kuma. It means that I really can't engage the Kuma. I started looking at the Kuma, but with the V-170 in that area, I thought twice about it, decided to take on the Wakeful. You're going to see me attempt my first cross drop here of the game as my torpedo bombers get engaged by the Langley's fighters. Kind of threw me for a loop there, but I do get one torpedo strike on the Wakeful as my Group 4 here is completely decimated. My Group 3 is going to return to base. Group 4 is about to be decimated. I think I get one torpedo drop. Yep, one drop there, but it's just one torpedo, and it's going to miss by a long shot. So, yeah, Group 3 completely decimated. Just waiting for it to, or no, Group 4 was decimated. Group 3s are returning to base. You can see him here. So just waiting for my torpedo bombers to rearm. So I'm kind of lucky I did get one. Like I said, this game does not stand out for anything except what happens in the very end. We will play through, though, because it did come down to the wire. So already you can see that the points are really not that far off. We are slightly ahead on points, but the enemy looks like they do have 2, 4, 5, 2, 4. No, we're even on ships, but we are completely out of destroyers. They have 2 destroyers left. And in a lot of games where it comes to strategy like this, the destroyers can, especially at early tiers, the destroyers can make or break a match. And the fact that they still have 2 destroyers, well, there goes, finished off the Wakeful. The Bogatyr finished off the Wakeful. So now we have pulled ahead slightly on ships. But usually in games like this, even 1 or 2 destroyers can completely turn the tide of the game. So whoever has destroyers left definitely has the advantage, as we lose another ship, a cruiser there, and ties the ships back up. So the game is still neck and neck. All right, so my torpedo bomber groups are rearmed. They're ready to go. I'm trying to figure out, okay, where do I want to launch? And the Langley's fighters are just really hovering around. It's like he's looking for me. And I launched my torpedo bombers with the intention of going after the Svetlana or the Kuma, maybe even this Bogatyr down here. But immediately the Langley's fighters are right on top of me. And I'm thinking again, okay, well, I need to keep them close at hand. So immediately, I'm air detected, that means that the fighters see me. Immediately, I recall my torpedo bombers. I want them back on deck. I want to protect them from these fighters. I'm going to highlight him as soon as he comes into range. I have very short range on our AA. The only AA capability I have now really is on the carrier itself. So I want to engage this guy. I'm actually going to start turning my carrier toward his fighters. And I'm going to start engaging him with the carrier itself. And there you can see that the anti-air opening up. It's not much. It's not much by way of anti-air, but even 1 or 2 that I can take down will make an easier job for the rear gunners on my torpedo bombers. And he sees that he's taking fire and he starts heading outbound. One thing I do like about the HOSHO, and we're now way behind on ships. Well, not way behind. They have a ship advantage over us, but they still have a destroyer. So with his fighters moving outbound, well, now here they're coming outbound again. I was considering launching and trying to take on this Wakataki down here. is now I am body detected. That walkie-talkie is heading inbound toward me. I really don't have a choice right now. I need to engage this walkie-talkie because he is going to come after me. But again, those fighters are right on top of me. And you can see each one of these little tick marks counts for a fighter. And there we go. I finally shot down one. See, each one of my torpedo bomber groups only has one torpedo bomber, or only has four aircraft in the flight. This guy has 6, which tells me that he has a 10-point commander. He's running air superiority, which he's down at this low-tier SEAL clubbing, I'm sure. But the only hope that I have is to get my aircraft back on deck. There we go. Opening up with the secondaries on the walkie-talkie. He is way too close for comfort. I need to keep an eye on him. I'm just going to drop torpedoes. Maybe we'll get lucky, maybe we won't. But get these guys back on deck. And, oh, just barely missed him. But get these aircraft back on deck to help protect them from those fighters. We have been whittling down, though, on that fighter group. And the thing is just keeping my ships close to the carrier, using the carrier's AA to augment what my rear gunners can do. But unfortunately, this has put me way too close for comfort to that Svetlana and that Kuma. So now I'm actually engaged, and that is one of the relative strengths of the HOSHO is its speed and maneuverability. It maneuvers more like a heavy cruiser, so it's definitely a lot faster and a lot more maneuverable than the Langley. So now I am getting engaged on the Svetlana and the Kuma, and I'm wanting to drop my torpedoes, and you can see there's the fighters engaging again, but I've been able to knock them down enough that they're not having as devastating an impact. Now my ship, you can see the screen shaking, my ship is taking fire. I'm wanting to drop on this Svetlana, but I want to drop in a way, oh, rear gunner's actually got one of his fighters, good. I want to drop in such a way that I can maybe catch these guys in almost a crossfire. So those actually look pretty good. Just missed those. Are we actually going to get one? Svetlana looks pretty good to take a torpedo. He's not going to dodge that. Down he goes. Alright, so first kill of the game. Down goes the Svetlana. And that's our second torpedo strike. So I'm going to try to... Those aircraft are coming in. They're going to recover. But now I am actually in serious danger. You can see this Kuma is coming around at me, and my aircraft are on a cooldown. Still engaging that last fighter. Maybe we can get him shot down. Maybe we can. There we go. Got him. Finally got him. But now we're being directly engaged by this Kuma, and he is really taking us. We're taking a toll from his guns. All right. So my goal here at first, I was thinking, okay, well, if I'm going to go down, it ain't going to be from lack of fighting, because we are exactly even on ships. If I can take out this Kuma by ramming, at least I can do an even trade. So my ships are back off my aircraft are back off cooldown. I am going to drop torpedoes on this Kuma, but I have to be careful knowing where they're going to drop at. I have to be careful and try to not allow, not torp myself, because you can do that. You can torpedo yourself. Going for the ram, but he's just a bit more maneuverable than me. So I missed the ram. Didn't want to get too close to those torpedoes. So now I'm actually in a knife fighting situation with a light cruiser, and I know though, so got a couple of secondary hits on him. I know though if I can just keep turning him, that the Imperial Japanese Navy is known for having very slow turret traverse. That's why he's not shooting at me. I know to expect those torpedoes, but I'm going to keep turning on him until I get over here just even with these islands, and I start to run. Took a look there, make sure I'm not going to pull a noncer. Start taking those. Now I can no longer out-turn him. He's got his guns back on me, so I'm going to start turning the opposite way. Present as small a target as possible. My fighters, or my torpedo bombers are launching again. I'm going to take one more drop attempt on this guy. I'm down to less than 5,000 health. He's really hurt me bad. More fighters inbound. Hopefully we can take him out with the carrier's guns, maybe the rear gunners. But I'm just letting those carriers, I'm letting those torpedo bombers drop. Unfortunately, the replay doesn't show you me setting up the aiming and cross drop, but I did set up a cross drop on this guy. Unfortunately, my timing was a bit off, but I'm just trying to keep him focused on me. The IJN cruisers are not the most maneuverable, and boom. All right, kill number 2, and that answers the question. Can a carrier knife fight a light cruiser and win? The answer is yes, provided the right set of circumstances. And pardon the language there in chat, but yeah, it seems like I took him by a bit by surprise there. Took a few people by surprise. Sorry for the language in the chat there, CJ. Yeah. But there you go. So now all that's left on the enemy team is the Langley. I'm about to. Actually, I was so excited and happy in the game time after having killed that cruiser. I completely lost myself there. I forgot. Hey, I have torpedo bombers, so I'm about to launch torpedo bombers and try to get them down at this Langley. But the Langley itself is taking some severe fire from the friendlies. That St. Louis down there is just hammering this guy. But I send torpedo bombers down that way anyhow. I wish that replays would allow you to see the aiming reticle, because I'm set right now in the game. When it was live, I was actually setting up a cross drop on that guy, and you can see my warning indicator that I'm about to pull a Notzer up here and run into this island. Wasn't too worried about it. Kind of figured that those torpedo bombers the Langley is sending out, if I can find my mouse, the torpedo bombers Langley is setting out down there in the mini map are probably bound for the St. Louis. But even still, I wanted to back up and give myself some maneuverability as the game ends. Okay, so I know that I am absolutely noob to carriers. I have the Langley and I have the HOSHO, so haven't played much on either one of them. It is definitely a different style of gameplay. That was kind of interesting. That was really interesting. 15,500 damage off of, how many torpedoes did I get, folks? 3 torpedoes. 9 aircraft shot down, 2 incapacitations, 2 kills out of it though. 2 floods, 2 secondary hits, 4 spotted ribbons, 58,000 credits, 1,000 experience, 59 free experience. This was not this was a laughable carrier game. But I'm starting to kind of get the feel of it. I really have a lot more respect for people that main on carriers now, because there's so much that you have to balance and juggle. The only reason I did a replay on this was because of that end game there. A little skirmish I had toward the end. Hey, I wasn't at the bottom of the chart. I did contribute a little bit, so that's not bad. Peek at the detailed report, man. That fight with that Kuma, I don't know how I survived that. That was just, yeah, I was trying to keep him distracted, keep him focused on me, keep him away from my torpedo bombers, and just got lucky. I'll take the luck, Okay, so we did finish off the Svetlana as well. That Langley, though, man, that Langley just absolutely had me outclassed. He dominated the airspace. And I guess that's the way now I know that carrier gameplay is going to completely change, but I guess that's the way you have to do it. If you can get an unstoppable fighter squadron, take out the enemy carrier's fighters, you can just wreck them the rest of the game and just dominate the airspace. So the strategy kind of worked out. We did wind up shooting them down, though. We got them, baited them back over my ship where I had a little bit of anti-air at least, and so kind of worked out. All right, folks, so this was fun. What do you think? I am going to continue on with carriers. I'm looking forward to the carrier rework, and look forward to seeing you in game.